Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, January 22, 2021. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark is assuring the public that there is no cut in expenditure on education in the third supplementary estimates of expenditure. This comes against the backdrop of media reports that budgetary constraints have been placed on the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. In a statement issued yesterday, Dr. Clark explained that a decision was taken to have the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology manage the program to purchase laptops for students on the Program of Advancement through Health and Education path. The Finance Minister says the practical arrangement is to ensure speedy and efficient procurement, as the Technology Ministry has the experience and relationship with suppliers to undertake this activity at scale and on relatively short notice. As a result, the $1.8 billion for the laptop program is being transferred from the Education to Technology Ministry, but will still be used for its original purpose of supporting blended learning modalities. On Tuesday, the Finance Minister tabled the third supplementary estimates for the 2020-21 fiscal year. It shows an overall $3.5 billion reduction in spending. Still on finance, the Microcredit Act 2021, which aims to regulate microfinancing institutions while protecting their customers, has now passed committee stage with 6 amendments. Led by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark, the debate received robust contributions from both sides of the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Dr. Clark says that with the rapid expansion of the microcredit industry to over 200 institutions, the bill will provide sanctions for malpractices and institute a framework to promote growth of the sector.
This bill to enact the Microcredit Act seeks to, among other things, 1, license and regulate microcredit institutions that provide financing to individuals, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. 2, to discourage microcredit institutions from lending money at excessive interest rates that are not justified by the risk.
The bill will also make it illegal to engage in predatory lending practices, threats, and intimidation. In addition, it will promote greater transparency and the disclosure of pricing and terms of products that offer consumer protection. It will further reduce the risk of the industry being misused to facilitate money laundering. Minister Clark says the passage of Microcredit Act tops the list of criteria to be implemented by Jamaica in order to remain in compliance with international and Caribbean financial watch groups to improve the country's anti-money laundering and terrorism regimes.
It is imperative for the enactment of the Microcredit Act by the end of January 2021, which will allow microcredit institutions to be brought under the regulatory framework of the Proceeds of Crime Act, the Terrorism Prevention Act, and to be subject to AML/CFT regulation.
Cabinet has given approval for the granting of $21 million towards the legal fees of 5 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. This was disclosed by Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Favour Williams, during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. She said Cabinet also approved the establishment of an interim procedure for the management of contributions to legal expenses incurred by members of the JCF for actions taken during lawfully assigned duties. This is pending the finalization of a formal policy by the Ministry of National Security.
It is important to note that from a previous cabinet submission, it was agreed that the government would not be directly paying the legal fees for police officers with cases before the courts, but would contribute to the legal defense fund for police officers.
Minister Williams explained that the fund was established under the Heads of Agreement for the contract period 2012 to 2015, which allowed for an injection of $20 million to start the fund. Coming also out of Wednesday's post-cabinet meeting, the Strengthening of the Intellectual Property Ecosystem project has received approval for implementation. The project seeks to increase the country's innovation and competitiveness sectors while creating the appropriate conditions for the monetization or commercialization of intellectual property as collateral. The Intellectual Property Project is being executed by the Inter-American Development Bank and Compete Caribbean and implemented by the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO.
The project will seek to provide valuation guidelines for intellectual property assets and conduct training activities in valuation in order to help fill a key gap in the intellectual property ecosystem.
The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, has ordered a closure of the country's keys, except the Morant and Pedro Keys. The order took effect on Tuesday and will remain enforced until February 1, 2021. ODPEM says the decision was made following discussions with the Ministers of Local Government and National Security and the municipal corporations, which have direct responsibility for the keys. The Disaster Management Office warns that no activities should take place at the locations as the island seeks to reduce the spread of COVID-19. The Marine Police will continue to rigorously monitor the keys to uphold the law and ensure that the public is conforming to the established protocols. ODPEM is reminding the public to adhere to the protocols under the Disaster Risk Management Enforcement Measures Order 2021, which carries severe fines and penalties. And finally, the first set of Reach Out Rangers in the fight against COVID-19 mental trauma have been appointed. The cohort consists of 30 individuals who have undergone training and graduation to assist community members who are facing psychosocial challenges. The initiative forms part of the Ministry of Health and Wellness's COVID-19 Mental Health Response Program. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton told the virtual graduation on Wednesday that in the coming months, the initiative would be strengthened with the addition of 50 persons.
They are going to be not just armed with the information intellectually, but they will be walking billboards in the communities where they will reside and work. And the message is very simple. Reach out. Integrate yourself in the community. Use your training to assess where the issues are. Offer a listening ear. Give some guidance. Make some recommendations and give support where that support is necessary.
Dr. Tufton says the program was developed to support persons who have to stay at home as part of the protocols to control coronavirus infections. And this subgroup mostly includes older persons and students, including those who face mental disorders and depression. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.